Hi, it's me, Sophie Robinson from the Great Interior Design Challenge, and the winner, Sarah Mitchenall. How are you doing? It's 5.
Tell if you like.
Well, congratulations. That's like super exciting.
Thank you.
My goodness, didn't you work hard?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was insane.
There is a reason why it's called the challenge, isn't it? I mean, it's like, seriously, I don't think people at home fully appreciate how hard you guys have to work and the time scales, not just to do the design, but you only get a week to prep it too.
Yeah, I mean, you get a week to prep it if you're lucky, and the time scale, I mean, they film 48 hours, and the amount of time you actually get to do the work is limited. And it is just the most remarkable pressure.
Yeah.
You see it on telly and you think, oh, I could do that. You know, the simplest things become a really big deal to try and achieve.
But you enjoyed it?
I did enjoy it. I think more in
We didn't always see that though, did we?
No, you didn't. There's lots of thunder faces. I did enjoy it. It certainly has been, it's been like a catalyst for a whole load of change for me. That alone has been worthwhile.
Well, I think that's something we see a lot, especially with the designers who make it all the way through to the end, is by the time, do you do 6 briefs by the time you get to the end?
Yeah.
So you've got 6 projects, all completely different. So I guess, and also getting put through each time, you must grow in the confidence in your abilities.
Yeah, I mean, the research you have to do alone, that means that you're kind of, for me certainly, that meant my horizons were broadened enormously. Your confidence does grow because you're being pushed out of your comfort zone continuously. And it is, you know, it's a fun thing to do, but you do have to work really hard to make it work for you.
Yeah, and to come up with something new, like you say, week after week after week, new ideas.
Literally, right, what's next? Boom.
Well, you know, I have to say we were really impressed with how you did it over and over again, got very different schemes from you. You know, you didn't just have one particular look that you fell into. Although all your schemes were quite brave and quite colourful, it's true to say. Didn't really do soft, pale, neutral, did you?
Number 2 I did. That was quite soft.
Oh, the kitchen, yeah, that was pretty neutral. But, you know, you were concentrating on other things in that room, right?
I was, yeah.
Like
the
disintegrating
kitchen.
worktops.
Yeah. I knew that was going to happen before I even got there, though.
Yeah,
I saw it and kind of went, that's
that.
just going to be a complete...
Well, I think that definitely showed Danny and I that you'd got what it takes to go a long way, because that could have really crumpled a lot of people. Just the basics. You forget what it looks like. Just the basics of making that makeover happen.
Yeah.
It was really, really tough. What would you say was the worst part of the journey? Are there any real lows?
The final.
Oh yeah, save it to the end.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think I managed to kind of keep my cool, actually. I always think that there are more important things in life than worrying about decorating, as invested as I am in the whole thing. But the final absolutely broke me. Yeah,
well, I have to say, on the whole history of the Great Interior Design Challenge 3 series, we've never actually had a designer locked out the house.
No.
So,
is that like a claim to fame?
Yeah, that you can have that badge. Yeah, but you know,
but
then in order to turn that around, because
yeah.
you obviously had a homeowner who got a different vision in her mind. You know, this is what people do; they visualise certain things, and you only get a written brief, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, the difficulty is when it comes to a final is that if you've got a home with one room for a homeowner, then they can kind of take a bit of a gamble on it, and it's easier for them, I think, to trust you. When you've got 3 rooms and it's almost your entire home, that is a huge investment that you're asking a homeowner to make. You've never met them. My brief was incredibly jumbled, so it was very difficult to decipher what exactly she wanted, and I think it was probably said in the programme, but what she really wanted was someone to just decorate with the wallpaper she bought.
Yeah, which was never going to be how you wanted to do it.
No, and I genuinely invest in the people that I was working. You know, I would get as good an idea as possible of what they were like and how they would feel about something, and I properly invested in it. So when it came to all of that, it was crushing. Well,
it's fair to say that, you know, obviously this is a television format and it isn't the real world. And in the real world, an interior designer would meet their client.
Absolutely.
They'd look around the house. You'd have lots of discourse over weeks, not just hours. So, you know, it obviously is a format that almost puts you in a pressure cooker. and sees how well you cope. But I think one thing that a lot of people said about you throughout the whole competition, but especially in the final, is how you keep your cool. So what's your secret with that? How do you keep it together under pressure?
Perspective, a heavy dose of perspective. And I love what I do, and I loved doing it. And I'm old enough and long enough in the tooth to know that life throws at you some pretty big things. So I've dealt with quite a lot,
Well, you've also
I don't worry about it.
You've used it as a springboard to set up your own business. I know you've got your own interior design practice, Black Parrots, which is in its infancy, isn't it, at the moment? But you've already got some projects under your belt, because obviously we filmed last summer. Yeah. So you've been able to do, you've just got straight on it basically, haven't you? Straight at the final and straight on building your new business with your business partner Alexa, who we saw on the show as well. She was kind of helping you out, wasn't she, on the final? She
was, yeah. I dragged her into it for the last bit. It's been a hard work few months actually, really cracking.
So you haven't let up, is what you're saying. You basically worked all summer long on Design Challenge, and you just kept going.
Yeah, because there's no rest for the wicked. It's been really wicked. Wow. Yeah, it was like a momentum. The whole thing was like a big catalyst.
And you just wanted to keep that energy going.
Yeah, and we've been waiting to do this for years. The two of us have been wanting to work together for a long time. It was exciting. There was no stopping. It was like, right, we'll do it now or we'll never do it. And
so have you found being part of the Great Interior Design Challenge and going through that process, has that really helped you go on to having a career in design?
It certainly helped me. I wanted to dip my toe into the water and just see whether it was something I wanted to do. I didn't want to go back and retrain before it seemed like a good idea at the time.
An experiment. like work experience.
It was a social experiment on myself, and it was worthwhile. It definitely kind of catapulted us into what we are doing now, and we'll just have to wait and see what comes out of
And are you keeping the gardening business running at the same time, or have you made the shift now to purely interiors?
I've put it on hold momentarily just so we could set the business up, but actually one of my main drivers to do the programme was that I strongly feel like there needs to be better design that connects the garden to the home and vice versa.
So you'll be bringing both sensibilities together.
Yeah, I love gardens. There's something incredibly beautiful about working outside and with outside space, as there is indoors. I mean, they're very different kind of pleasures, but
you see them working together. And do you use the sort of same design ideas and sensibilities across the two?
Yeah, I mean, that's where the whole kind of architectural side of it comes in, and kind of seeing everything as a space rather than here's the door, this is where this begins and this ends. Especially as we've got smaller and smaller living accommodation and we really need to make more of it. Mm-hmm. I just think, there are ways of making better spaces.
Yeah, so that's kind of what you're passionate about, really.
It is, yeah.
And then, I mean, you had some pretty challenging briefs over the series. Some of them you probably weren't so in love with. But if I was to give you your dream brief, what would it be?
My dream brief? That's a good question. Probably somebody that was prepared to really trust, and maybe somebody that was quite adventurous in themselves but needed somebody to bring that together.
So someone with a vision, but quite a bold vision.
Yeah, quite a bold vision. That
but not too controlling.
No.
Sounds like all of our dreams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You tell me what yours is. I think it'd be fairly similar.
Loads of money as well. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Although, to be fair, we've got a dream job on at the moment, which is completely the opposite of that. It's a really modern house with a really modern build and a really sleek, stripped back interior. So, and that is proving to just be the best fun. So you
because
just don't know,
it's quite different from what you'd done in the past.
Yeah, to work on a good budget with just to be able to take things back to the raw materials and look at everything on that level has been really exciting. So it just shows really, you don't really know where the pleasure's going to come.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So you've got some projects running, but what's next for you? Where are we going to see you next? What are you going to be up to? What's your big focus?
The focus
2016.
2016. It's going to be a big year, I think. It's quite an exciting year. It's seeing what comes of everything we've built in the last 6 months. You know, we have been working really hard to get a few products.
We're going to see some product design from you.
Yeah.
Nice, some brass sleeves.
Yeah, that was the final one.
Nice.
Yeah. We've kind of evolved the wall light and the kind of botanical theme stuff.
And you're always really brilliant at sourcing vintage stuff as well. And all your upcycling is amazing. You're going to keep an element of that in your designs?
Yeah, I mean, that's like, for me, that's a huge part of the pleasure that drives everything that I do. So
sort of product design,
fabrics, wallpapers, lighting, but all with that kind of vibe. Like they could be work as a modern thing, but they would also work mixed with.
Yeah, so you're not creating vintage interiors.
No.
You just want to mix it up with everything else.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like old things, I think, give a home like a bit of a soul. If everything's too new for me, I sort of start feeling like I'm inside like a Marks and Spencer's catalogue or something. It's all too it's all too perfect.
Yeah, there's not a lot of it's rare to get like real long lasting pleasure out of something that's brand new.
Yeah.
It's things that have lasted for longer and have continued to be loved. And then
it might be
you bring
something
them
you
into
already
your
own, right?
Yeah,
well.
totally.
And working them into a new thing.
Yeah, people always have things that they do not realise how good they could be.
So where can we find out, you know, if people want to keep an eye on you and what you're up to, where can we find you?
They can find us on the website, which is blackparrotstudio.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. We're mad pinners, so we're always on there.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Good. Well, watch this space, I think, basically. I'm really excited for you, Sarah. Honestly, you're one of the
Sophie.
best contestants we've seen. I know I speak with Daniel as well. Absolutely, totally love meeting you, and I can see you've got a really inspiring empire ahead of you. I'll be following your pins.
Thanks.
I put a load of details down in the box below, and do subscribe to my channel. Thanks.